Extremely dangerous toys that cause serious harm should be banned from the face of the earth. But that didn't stop some seriously harmful toys invented by some highly questionable individuals to hit the market. These had the potential to injure the little angels to the point of no return. From choking to burning hazards, here are the most dangerous banned kids' toys ever. Just because you put the slogan, "Never kite higher than you're willing to fall" on your ridiculous kids' toy doesn't make it safe. This notorious product is called the WeGo Kite Tube. The Kite Tube is 3 meters wide and can be pulled by a boat, allowing the kite to float in the air with the rider on it. It was even embellished with some skulls and crossbones to make it look cool. If it's not clear already why the kite made for children was highly dangerous, let us explain. The rider had little to no control over the kite's movement, and there were only stirrups and 2 hand grips to hold onto it, which is sorely inadequate for something that is gliding through the air at a high speed. The kite could fly as high as a 3-story building, which isn't the best toy idea for little children with a lot more life to live. That thing is the most dangerous toy ever, not only for kids, but adults as well. It took 2 people passing away and dozens of others getting heavily injured, including a broken neck and a punctured lung, for the authorities to ban this flying piece of destruction. The company behind the kite claimed that there's no way to exactly say why those accidents happened and if the kite alone was responsible for it, but they did end up pulling it from the shelves out of an abundance of caution. We get it, we all want our kids to be great adults with all the repairman skills they'll ever need, but that shouldn't come at the cost of them seriously injuring themselves with something that was supposed to be a fun-sized tool set for learning while playing. If you decide to give your kids the idea about how different tools work, maybe give them a plastic version of those tools instead of actual die-cast metal, fully functioning dangerous tools. Yeah, you heard that right. The makers of the PowerMite toolset thought it was a great idea to give children actual functioning tools to play with. If you still haven't understood the intensity of the stupidity behind this bizarre invention, let us elaborate. It was a set of actual working tools made of metal. The only way to recognize them as children's products was by their smaller size. The circular saws had sharp blades that may not be life-threatening, but can cause massive injuries. And if that wasn't enough, they came up with a battery-operated table saw, hand drill, orbital sander, drill press, and last but not least, saber saw. So in short, it was all the potential injuries your precious little child can have packed into a cute box. To further encourage your kids to play with this toy, they added an instruction book labeled "Do It Yourself" that had some lame projects out of balsa wood and styrofoam. If you ever wanted to give your child the gift of potential pain and suffering, this is the toy for you. Why go to a trampoline for just an hour or so when you can have it right on your feet 24/7? The Pogo Shoes are anti-gravity boots and ankle annihilators and allow your kid to do just that. This kid toy is basically a trampoline on the go, or with a pinch of imagination, low-gravity moon environment simulator. These very questionable looking shoes were first introduced as satellite jumping shoes in the 1950s. Back then, it was made out of metal and coil springs to clamp over a person's actual shoes, like roller skates that could easily pass as some kind of medieval punishment device. They were long and forgotten for quite a while, but then came back on Nickelodeon in 1992, and with them came the dreaded plastic pogo or moon shoes. While the company claimed that the shoes were safe and the biggest possible injury would be a minor fall, lawyers over at O'Connor, Acciani, and Levi felt otherwise, seeing how the original moon shoes were actually banned, and for good reason. There are hundreds of calls from angry parents complaining about their kids' fractured ankles and other major injuries. If you're feeling particularly adventurous and want to try one of these, you can still find them on Amazon and eBay. And if you're feeling curious about what other weird stuff is out there, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because our channel is filled with interesting videos just like this one. At first, the Rollerblades Barbie may look like a harmless cute little toy, but I promise you it's anything but. It's one of the most dangerous kids' toys ever, and the fact that the idea came out of the head of a fully grown adult is concerning. There are literal cigarette lighter-like devices on Barbie's feet that blow flames when rolled on a flat surface. Roll it on something that can catch fire and you're in deep trouble. Barbies in general don't exactly paint a great picture when it comes to building self-confidence in little girls. They push toxic beauty standards, like having an incredibly tall yet ridiculously skinny body, a waist small enough to fit through a scrunchie, a rigidly perky smile, huge eyeballs that look anything but natural, a nose you can barely see, and enough hair to weigh the bizarrely small head down to the ground. And when you combine that with dangerous flames from the rollerblade boots that can set the whole house on fire, you get the perfect recipe for a dangerous kid's toy. It kinda looks like one of the Super Friends toy cars, but is nowhere near that when it comes to the safety of the young children, and basically everyone that can be affected by a huge house fire. I mean, when have fiery rollerblades ever been a great idea? Sometimes trying to do something nice can backfire if you don't think it through. The same happened to Burger King when they started to include seemingly harmless Pokemon ball toys with the kids' meals, kinda similar to the giant Kinder Surprise of recent days. The toys came inside the balls that would open up to reveal the little plastic Pokemon inside. The venture was going seemingly well until the containers of the toys started to become an issue. One half of the balls that the toys came in started getting suctioned onto little children's faces, suffocating them. A 13-month-old girl and a 4-month-old boy passed away because of this, and another young girl would have faced the same fate if it wasn't for her father's quick actions. These Pokeballs were a nightmare to leave kids to play with. The 4-month-old's grandma had left a toy in his crib when he woke up from his nap. Little did she know that her precious little grandkid was about to take a very, very long nap within a matter of a few minutes. When the grandma came back to check on the kid, she found a ball covering his mouth and nose, and before she could do anything, it was too late. After that happened what we call the biggest product recall in history. Burger King recalled 25 million of these Pokeballs, and even then they ended up getting sued by the parents of the 13-month-old girl. The two parties reached a monetary settlement outside the court. The fast food chain faced a massive setback after the accidents. The Battlestar Galactica TV show was a huge hit back in the day. The fact that the show got canceled after only 24 episodes didn't stop the toy makers from making the Battlestar Galactica Colonial Viper in 1978, right after the TV premiere of the show. The supposedly family-friendly toy that was designed for the kids learning through videos was flying off the shelves like crazy. That was until December 1978 when disaster struck. Even though the toy unboxing and assembly could be a fun experience, leaving a toy that can shoot missiles with children is probably not the best idea in the world. A 4-year-old pointed the missile to his mouth and accidentally shot it down his throat. The young man passed away because of choking. For obvious reasons, the toy was pulled from the market immediately. That issue, however, didn't end there. The toy company Mattel, which was behind this kind of dangerous toy that fired missiles, got into a huge lawsuit in March 1979. Thanks to that, now almost every toy that can be ingested comes with a choking hazard symbol. It's been a long time coming though, according to a hospital emergency room citing more than 1,000 children during 1978 for injuries caused by projectile toys. The name of this weird toy itself should be enough reason to not buy your kids this box of childhood trauma. And guess who this little number is also from? The Mattel Toy Company. So this is a set of highly dangerous tools and toxic chemicals that allows the children to make, as Mattel advertised it, creepy crawlers in soft, non-toxic plastic. The list of why this shouldn't be a children's toy is super long. To begin with, as one would expect, the toxic chemicals make the creepy crawlers emit toxic fumes. Then comes the metal trays with the heating elements being given to little children to play with without any adult supervision. If this isn't a recipe for disaster, I don't know what is. It's a miracle how small children in the 1960s survived. They needed to get the stove running to make the crawlers with shrinky dinks. How no one saw any issues with that name is a mystery within itself. But later, Mattel tried to solve this problem by including the Easy Bake Oven's 350-degree light bulb and chemicals to pour into a metal mold and make the wiggly jiggly gross crawler toys. That way the kids don't have to use the adult stoves. But instead, it caused all sorts of burns and blisters in little kids, not to mention the super toxic chemical fumes. After being off the market for obvious reasons for a while, this weird toy made a comeback in 1978 with new, actually non-toxic chemicals with plastic molds this time. Yay! As it turned out, the little danger-seeking goofballs didn't actually like the safer model, so it didn't sell that well. What kid doesn't love a great remote-controlled airplane? The Sky Ranger's Park Flyer was all a kid could wish for in a toy. Just turn the plane on, give it a gentle throw, then steer it through the air using the radio controller. The Sky Ranger's Park Flyer came with a wingspan of about 14 inches, a light blue, white, and orange polystyrene foam fuselage, and a copper coil in the rudder. But there's one tiny detail that they didn't include in the packaging: the batteries the plane used to burst midair out of the blue, scaring the life out of everyone around, not to mention the number of serious injuries it could cause. There have been 45 reports of airplanes exploding, with 22 reports of hearing loss that the kids and their adult counterparts experienced after the explosions. 5 reports of minor burns to the hands, 2 reports of eye injuries, 2 reports of chest impact due to the flying parts of the toy hitting people, and 1 report of a cut hand. That's an awful lot of injuries for one toy to cause. The toy plane was recalled just a few days after its launch due to the massive destruction it was causing, especially to little children. Is it just me, or were the toys of not so long ago actually incredibly sexist? And as if it wasn't enough for the Empire's little lady stove to put harmful and backward thoughts that only women should be cooking into the minds of little children, it was also a massive fire hazard. The Easy Bake Oven was designed to make little girls into good homemakers by allowing them to practice their baking skills in their own little ovens. They could bake their own cookies and cakes there. Even actual ovens made with proper precautions can be dangerous if left unattended for a long time due to some kind of electrical malfunction leading to a fire. So naturally, people would expect that an oven made for little girls would be well made with necessary safety precautions. While that may be the case in an ideal world, where this kind of toy that assumes gender roles won't even exist, this manufacturer, on the other hand, ignored one tiny issue. The light bulb heating element could reach 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a lot of Fahrenheit, and as the CPSC said it, the children could insert their hands into the oven's opening and get their hands or fingers caught, posing an entrapment and burn hazard. In 2007, the Easy Bake Oven was recalled and redesigned with proper safety precautions that are available for all children, irrespective of their gender, who want to bake goodies without burning them. Airgun or blowgun injuries don't seem like a big thing, and for the most part it's hard to tell if they're serious or not just by looking at them. But these guns can actually cause internal tissue damage, and if they go unnoticed for a long time, that can have catastrophic consequences. These are a very popular kind of toy among young boys, and every year about 2 to 2.5 million non-powder firearms are sold. As a consequence, 12.9 per 100,000 people seek medical assistance because of the injuries caused by them. These guns are mainly aimed toward the kids, and we all know how creative kids can be. With just a pinch of destructive imagination, these can be used for self-harming purposes. A study shows there were 42 admissions with a mean hospital stay of 7 days. The average age was 10 years, with a median age of 11 years, between them 35 were boys and 7 were girls. So despite what the packaging might suggest, these airguns aren't as innocent as they seem. If your kid is really into shooting games, you may consider other alternatives like safe dart sets. Or do you have any other ideas? Share with us in the comments below. Laser pointers have been the favorite toy for many of us growing up, especially for the millennials. What we didn't realize back then is how dangerous the lasers can be. They are not something kids should be playing with. If the laser is more than 5 milliwatts, it has the potential to fry your precious little angel's eyeballs. To understand the intensity of the risk, this man did his research. I mean, he really did his research. He pointed the laser straight into one of his eyes and held it there for 60 seconds. It ended up giving him a headache and temporary damage to his eye. According to Garrett Salzman, Program Assistant, Injury Prevention Program, lasers should not be used as toys. They can cause serious injury to the eye that is both immediate and long-term. So pointing a laser at someone as a prank is a huge no-no. But since kids are, well, just kids, they don't know any better and might just end up hurting someone. The best course of action here would be not to buy your kids laser pointers or any toys with lasers without adult supervision. Since the laser is in almost every toy, the children need to be educated about the risks. I mean, how lame would the Superman look without his laser eyes after all? Just make sure that even if you buy your nephew or niece a toy with a laser in it, it's below 5 milliwatts, and always check the age range on the toy. At this point, you've probably guessed that any toy could be dangerous for kids. It was shocking when people found out that the innocent-looking SpongeBob SquarePants address books and journals that practically had no obvious reasons to be harmful got pulled out of the shelves by the US authorities. Apparently, the binders made in China had an excessive amount of lead. Shocking, right? Childhood exposure to a hazardous amount of lead can cause learning problems, reduced intelligence, hyperactivity, and attention deficit disorder or ADHD. The authorities ended up recalling 250,000 of these binders from the market after many reports of kids facing breathing difficulties because of them. The binders got super popular because of the popular 5th longest running American animated comedy television series SpongeBob SquarePants, which is the brain baby of marine science educator and animator Steven Hillenburg. The show on Nickelodeon got so popular that it turned into a media franchise. No doubt the kids loved these address books and journals. When the media asked China about the blunder they made and put hundreds of kids' lives in danger, they reported that toy makers will face tougher quality checks in the Guangdong province, where many of the recalled Mattel toys were manufactured. Remember Mattel? The ones that created highly questionable kids' toys already on our list? Yeah, that Mattel. No, we don't give our kids explosives to play with. For 1,000 times, no. Explosives are not for kids. Whoever made this needs some serious therapy sessions. The Super Bang Blast Balls are exactly what they sound like. They are balls that you bang together to get them to explode. You just smash 2 balls together and bang! You've successfully scared the life out of everyone who didn't expect to hear an ear-piercing, abrupt sound during their calm, soothing day.
Pap, pap.
They advertised the ridiculous toy saying that they worked like caps. By caps, we mean the kind that you put in a toy gun that make a bang noise and some additional sparks for fun. But now that you have the Super Bang Blast Balls, you don't have to deal with all the plastic residue on your hands. Obviously, it caused a whole lot of injuries and fires. The company was surprised that this was happening. Well, no kidding, Sherlock. What do you expect would happen when you give children balls that blow up to play with? Thankfully, the authorities took quick action and banned the product for good. Fidget toys are all the rage these days, especially among adults. They have proven to be great stress relievers. Most of those toys are safe for the younger audience as well, until it comes to Buckyballs. These are super strong magnetic ball bearings that give people the scope to be creative and relaxed by allowing them to make different sculptures with them. The Buckyballs also double as darts if you throw them at a refrigerator. In short, the concept was flawless, apart from one tiny detail. These stress relievers can also, ironically, be stress inducers if they get in the wrong hands. Kids tend to swallow everything, and these balls are the perfect size for it. It's even hard to notice if a few of the balls go missing because of the large numbers included in each package. Even teenagers are in danger of swallowing them to mimic tongue and lip piercings. What a brilliant idea, guys! Don't have piercings? Are your parents too strict for you to get them? Don't worry, just put a bunch of tiny magnetic balls into your mouth to fake it till you make it. The most dangerous fact is that these balls tend to clamp together after they're swallowed due to the strong magnetic energy. This results in tears in organs, blood poisoning, digestive system blockages, and possible passing away. The government finally declared these toys dangerous for kids after more than 1,000 children were required to go under the knife because of the accidental ingestion. The company, however, refused to take any responsibility and voluntarily recall its product. That backfired on them when the feds had no choice but to sue the company. The owner then dissolved the whole company instead of recalling the product, which then resulted in the government going after him personally to get $57 million in costs. He finally got off the hook by paying about 1% of the amount. Fidget spinners took the world by storm for children and adults alike. The children and teenagers especially loved the toy. Can't say the same for the parents and teachers though. These were all the rage back in 2017. The makers of the toy claim to be a good stress reliever for those suffering from autism, ADHD, or anxiety. Ryan's Toy Review even has a kids video on how to make your own fidget spinners. The toy seemed pretty safe, but if it's on this list, there's definitely something wrong with it. The problem started when the kids found out that they could take the metal ball bearings out of the toy, which is a massive choking hazard. From March 2017 to February 2018, at least 10 kids were admitted to the hospital after accidentally ingesting the parts of the spinners. Another problem is how much lead was in some of the fidget spinners. Target even pulled the toys off the shelves in 2017 due to the hazardous amount of lead in each of them. Some metal rings in some spinners also came out, making it dangerous for little kids to play with. These may be fun and safe for teenagers, but they are certainly not for young babies. The problems don't end there. An Australian mom got mortified when her 11-year-old got seriously hurt by throwing this fidget spinner into the air. It's only a matter of time at this point for the toy to be completely banned. Magnets coming loose is one of the worst cases of toy malfunctions that can ever happen. It may not seem like a big deal, but it is when the kids swallow them by accident, and yeah, that happens a lot. Mattel had to recall over 4 million of their Quick Click Polly Pockets after the Consumer Product Safety Commission received 170 reports of kids accidentally ingesting the magnets that had come loose from the toy. The magnets were attached to the doll's feet and the dollhouse accessories so that the kids can customize them to their liking. The loose magnets didn't only cause accidental swallowing either. Many decided to insert those into their ears for some reason. 3 children needed to be hospitalized and required surgery after swallowing these magnets and suffering intestinal perforations. Once magnets get ingested, they attract and attach to each other, leading to internal bleeding. The toy companies needed to be more careful about how they build their products and how safe they are before releasing them to the market. The safety of the kids isn't something to be taken lightly. Chalks in general aren't that dangerous, but they do cause some health issues. If a kid eats the chalk, the intensity of health complications will depend on the amount that was consumed. While eating chalk in a minimal amount can be harmless, ingesting too much of it can become slightly poisonous. Consuming chalk regularly can also irritate your stomach, weaken your digestive system, and damage your internal organs. Not to mention the possibility of lead poisoning from the swimming pool and billiard chalks. Since most teachers don't use chalk anymore, some people are actually trying to ban the classic sidewalk chalk because of the amount of dust they create. Kids end up inhaling the dust while drawing with them. If anyone has asthma or other respiratory issues, this may be a problem. Only time will tell if the classic and all-time kid favorite colorful sidewalk chalk will actually be banned. Let's be honest, the Teletubbies are slightly creepy looking to adults, with basically no nose and their vacant eye expressions. Regardless, the super soft Teletubbies talking Po was a massive hit with children. They may look a little funny, but no one actually expected them to be a dangerous toy. The super soft toy came with speech and sound effects. Just press Po's tummy and it'll start to talk and make funny noises. The toy is also super plush, and all in all, a perfect nap time cuddle buddy for your sweet little angel. The Teletubbies talking Po can't cause any physical harm, and they won't. They cause much more serious psychological harm though. The toy is labeled 18+ months, whereas it should have been 18+ years. Wanna know why? Because many parents have heard the Teletubbies say some pretty inappropriate stuff. For example, a woman got one of these for her 3-year-old baby son, and after he played with it for a bit, the innocent little child started saying, "Bite my, rear end if you catch my drift." Naturally mortified, she asked him not to say that, and in response, her son said he heard his new super soft Teletubby saying it. She called up the company to ask about this highly inappropriate incident, as any sane mother would. The head of the company said that's not exactly what the doll says. It's actually a Cantonese woman saying faster, faster, and slower, slower. We've got no idea how this is any less inappropriate than what the kid was saying, but the company promised to change it in the next batch of Teletubbies talking Po. This previous version was pulled from the shelves in 1998 and was banned for good. Some people think this might have been a bit too harsh since it didn't cause any physical harm, and some believe it was just a misunderstanding. What do you think? Were the actions against the soft plush toy too much? Let us know in the comments below. You can find the actual demonstration of the crocodile dentist in Ryan's toy review on YouTube. It's a cute toddler learning video where the kids pretend to play with the toy. At first, the toy may seem like a great way to teach kids about anatomy, and to some extent it was, but still the parents of some unfortunate kids realize its finger puncturing abilities. The toy is sort of a blend between the crocodile dentist game with a 90s Russian roulette. Our crocodile friends here had razor-sharp teeth like their real-life counterparts that can cause serious injuries with just one wrong move. The toy went through huge transformations from when it was launched. Fuhrer and his technicians first downgraded the force at which the crocodile closes its jaw and lunges to prevent any kind of eye injury. Then they added some plastic pliers into the set so the kids don't chop their fingers off. Even though the toy was particularly safe at that point, it lacked the initial excitement it had, so the company decided to keep the pliers but restored the original lunging motion. It managed to remain the bestseller of the 1991 Christmas season and held that position for quite a long time. The toy has also been released by Toy City UK. The Spin Master is notorious for making the most dangerous kids' toy ever. From cars to rockets, they made everything for kids. One of their huge fails is the drug-covered toys that made the children end up in comas, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. They made many awful and dangerous toys, such as the airplanes that exploded mid-air, burning the users, and the topic of our discussion, the water rockets. The toy used water pressure that came from a hose. It's used to build up the launching pressure and then just press on the launcher to send your very own rocket to space. There's one tiny problem though. Instead of going up, your rocket might explode on you, fly straight to where your mom's sitting, or even better, fly directly at your face, making you look like a deformed tomcat. There have been at least 37 cases like that, and the number may even be bigger. In the US alone, there are about 9,200 emergency department admissions, resulting from fireworks-related injuries every year. It seems the danger is worth the thrill at this point. Which one of these shocked you the most? Have you seen any of these in real life? Let us know in the comments down below. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comment section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take good care of yourself.